friends, Pastor Coates once again today. I want to give you another Money Talk lesson in our series, 31 Reasons Why People Have Not Yet Fully Received Their Harvest. And today, we're getting closer to the end, but today is number 26, and this is the reason most people fail to recognize the enemies of their harvest and of their prosperity. You see, everything good has an enemy. Jesus had an enemy, and you will too. Listen to this definition. Your enemy is any person or influence that endeavors to stop you from achieving a worthy dream, goal, or assignment from God. Your enemy will use anything. He'll use words, delays, attacks, fears, doubts, anything he can to drain you of the energy and the passion to fulfill your dream. You see, Satan is your real enemy, but he will use anything that he can get his hands on. Let me give you a few keys to this challenge. Number one, your enemy is to be destroyed, not understood. If you try to understand your enemy, or obviously if you reason with your enemy, you try to negotiate with your enemy, he has gotten you distracted, and that's exactly what he wants you to happen. Never negotiate with the devil. I like what President Ronald Reagan used to say, never negotiate with a terrorist. I think that's a good word today. Never negotiate with the evil. Here's what the proverb says, Proverbs 22, verses 24 and 25. Make no friendship with a man given to anger, or go with a wrathful man. Learn lest you learn his ways and entangle yourselves in a snare. Do not give energy to your enemy. So I can give you a lot more truths on that, but let me focus on this. Your harvest is your financial prosperity, and it has an enemy. John 10:10, the thief comes but to rob, steal, kill, and destroy. Now I could list several, but in the sake of time for these Money Talk lessons, let me just list you three of the major enemies of your prosperity. Number one is wrong relationships. The friends that you have in your life are either energizing or they're attacking your assignment. You have to discern which category they fall into and respond appropriately. Proverbs 13:20, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. In the Strength and Wisdom Ministry Law of Association, we learned this: the associations you choose will determine whether you win or lose. I always like to say the youth version of this for young people is, you show me your friends and I'll show you your future. So wrong relationships is a huge enemy to your prosperity. Secondly, wrong teachings. Now this is possibly even bigger than wrong relationships. Wrong teachings, wrong belief systems, consequently buying into wrong teaching and believing the wrong things. You will never overcome wrong teachings that have become wrong belief systems in your lives. Proverbs 23:7, for as we think in our heart, so are we. I try to call out these wrong belief systems often. For example, there's a lot of wrong teaching out there about the sovereignty of God. Now, I know God is sovereign. That means He can do whatever He chooses to do, and you and I would never convince Him otherwise. But the sovereignty of God does not mean that human decisions do not play into the reason why things do or do not happen in our lives. I hear this all the time. But Pastor, if it's God's will, nothing can stop it. Really? 2 Peter 3:9, the Lord is not slow fulfilling His promise, as some count slowness, but is patient with you, not wishing that any should perish, but that all should reach repentance. Does that mean everyone is going to automatically be saved? Of course not, because God will never override a human decision. God makes no decisions that He has delegated for humans to make on the earth. There's a lot of wrong teaching about the sovereignty of God. A lot of wrong teaching about grace. Do I believe in grace? Oh, absolutely. Am I saved by grace? Of course I am. But here's the error. The error is in thinking that grace means I can keep on sinning and not reap the consequences of my action. Here's real grace. Titus chapter 2, for the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation for all people, training us to renounce ungodliness and worldly passions and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in this present age. So a lot of wrong teachings around a lot of things, and especially a lot of wrong teachings about prosperity. This is precisely why we do these Money Talk lessons every single Sunday, because I want you to understand biblical or kingdom prosperity and get delivered of religious and small thinking and small broken self-portrait concepts about kingdom prosperity. But here's the third enemy of your prosperity: wrong words, wrong relationships, wrong belief systems, wrong words. Our time is probably gone, but Proverbs 18:21, death and life is in the power of the tongue, and those who live it will eat, or love it, will eat its fruit. You have to stop being your own worst enemy. You have to stop teaching and speaking wrong words that delay or destroy your financial harvest. I hear so many people so often putting themselves down. Well, I will never be able to do this. I would never be able to do that. That's probably why I don't have a lot of resources, because I don't know that I'd use them in the right way. Stop talking that way. Start talking the fact that as God's resources come into your life, your heart will lead you to do the right thing. God trusts you. I think God trusts us a lot more than we trust ourselves, to be honest with you about it. And as we grow into the right words from the right relationships and the right belief systems, then we will gain our kingdom place. So realize that there are enemies out there against your prosperity and your harvest, and start battling in the Spirit and in your words against those enemies. This is another reason. I think this is a big one. Number 26, most people fail to recognize and they fail to subsequently destroy the enemies that are in their life that attack their financial harvest. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.